In today's video, we are going to make a Hurricane Ian. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday. I'm Mark. This is the Average Meat Channel. And you know, about a year and a half ago here in Southwest Florida, we got hit, and we got hit hard by Hurricane Ian. But you know, we're bouncing back. The cleanup efforts have proven to be really successful. And at some point, you just got to look back and you have to have a little fun with it. So that's what we're going to try to do today. Now, let's talk a little bit about where you can get your ideas, inspiration, or even absolutely direct recipes. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. When I do tropical drinks, tiki drinks, one source I have here is the Don the Beachcomber book. Don the Beachcomber is one of the people who really started the whole tiki trend in America nearly 100 years ago, back around the 1930s. And this is really a nice recipe book of creations by Don the Beachcomber. And one that we're going to actually use today, I have some other books, but one we're going to use today comes from the Wicked Dolphin Rum Distillery. It's about an hour up the road. It's a really neat place. If you ever get to the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area, Fort Myers Beach, that area, stop there. It's really a fun tour. And I got this recipe book there, and in here they have something called the Hurricane Elsa. And I thought, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use that as an inspiration. We're going to change it up quite substantially. Now, typically, when you would do something called a hurricane, it seems like it's just a given that we're going to pour that into a hurricane glass. But today I want this to have a lot more of a tiki feel. So you see I have some of my tiki mugs out here. We'll talk a little more about them as we move forward with the cocktail. But first, let's take a look at what we're going to be putting into this. You can see obviously I have a lime. That's going to be for our lime juice. We have blue curacao. We could just use regular orange curacao, which is colorless. It really doesn't make much of a difference since I'm putting this into a solid tiki mug. But if we were going to put this into a hurricane glass, it might make a lot more sense because it would add a little bit of color. We're going to use rum. Of course, the book is from the Wicked Dolphin, so they recommend the Wicked Dolphin Crystal rum. I'm going to use Bacardi white rum for this one. And I'm going to use pineapple juice. All right, so let's get started. I am going to bump this recipe considerably. So I'm going to say the juice of one lime, I think that's going to come out to about 1 ounce of lime juice. If it goes too far over that, I'm going to hold back a little bit because I don't want this to have too much lime in it. But I think the juice of one ought to be just about right. It ought to be about 1 ounce, maybe a little bit under. So the juice of 1 lime, and let's see where that takes us. Yeah, that takes us to 1 ounce, and that's exactly where I want to be for this cocktail. Before we do that, let's make sure that we have a little bit of ice in here because we want this to be cold. Oh yes. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the whole ice thing as well. So we're going to start with 1 ounce of lime juice. Then we're going to go with 3 full ounces of our pineapple juice. Now, I would typically say if you are going to use juice out of a bottle like this, shake it up really good. I gave this a really good hearty shake before the program started, but you know, if you have something this big, you certainly want to shake it up. So I'm doing my variation. I'm peeking at this occasionally. So we have our juices. Let's go with 1 ounce of our blue curacao, or like I said, it could be traditional orange curacao. It doesn't matter. We don't need it for the color. But this is going to end up, because of these two, it's going to end up having a a green coloring to it. That's what I would anticipate. And we're going to go with 2 full ounces of a white or crystal rum. In this case, I'm using Bacardi. Now, oftentimes, if you're making any kind of a tiki cocktail, they have a lot of sugars, a lot of fruits. I didn't add any simple syrup today, but there's plenty of sugar coming from the Curacao. Just to give you an idea of typically how things are going to work. So we're going to shake the daylights out of this. Oops, didn't put that on tight. And we're going to abbreviate the shaking. There you go. Because I want to make sure that this goes for probably about 45 seconds. And there it is. I always judge it by how cold my hands are getting. If my hands are getting good and cold, I know that this has worked out. Oh, I wish you could see the inside of this. I don't think you can, but it's really a beautiful, beautiful blue color. I'm actually going to pour a little bit of it into the hurricane glass, just so you can get an idea. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So if you want to put it in a hurricane glass, you certainly can. I want this to be more of a tiki cocktail. So I'm using this particular tiki mug. This one, it's kind of neat. This may look familiar to some of you. This is actually designed from the Enchanted Tiki Room at Walt Disney World. And these are the tiki faces that come to life on the wall, and they sing the song to you. If you have never been there, it is just a wonderful experience. Can you see that blue? Oh, that. It's almost a shame to put it in a tiki mug. But like I said, I want the experience of that. Now, this came out actually pretty close to the top. But if it wouldn't, what you can do is put a little more cracked or crushed ice in there. Ideally, crushed ice for a tiki drink. And let's talk about why. Now, a tiki drink is, as I already alluded to, it's a lot of strong flavors. You know, you got rum. Oftentimes you'll have a mixture of a variety of different rums, dark rums, spiced rums. In this case, we're just using a crystal rum. You have a lot of sugars in there. You have a lot of fruit juices. There's a lot of really strong, powerful flavors. So what the ice does is it helps to kind of mellow those out. When you shake the cocktail, that's making it really cold. And you do want a tiki drink to be really, really cold. But you also want a tiki drink to have a good flavor. You don't want to be overwhelmed by it. Those flavors get to be softened just a little bit by that crushed ice. And it works really well. I want to show you this. I have a whole collection of these. I'm sure that they are collector's items at this point. This is actually a glass swizzle stick. It has this beautiful little bird on top. And this is from the Polynesian Village at Walt Disney World. And this is probably from 30 years ago or more. Certainly Disney has changed, and you know, it's not as important for them to have exceptional customer experience any longer. But at one time, I'm looking at this and it says Disney Polynesian Resort. And at one time they really did play things up, and they wanted people to have wonderful experiences. So there it is. This is the Hurricane Ian. Even in this mug, you look down, you can see that foamy sea blue. But if you choose to, certainly put that in a hurricane glass. It all depends upon your intent, your purpose, the atmosphere that you want to bring to the cocktail. I think that this is just perfect. So let's give it a taste. That's a good drink. Of course, we're getting, it's a nice blend, a nice mix of the pineapple, a little bit of that orange coming in from the blue curacao. We're getting the lime. So a lot of good, mix between the citrus and the pineapple. And then, of course, the rum You got to be careful when you have a good tiki cocktail, when they're nice and cold like this, and this is cold. Oh, it's so cold. When you have a drink like this, it's so easy. It goes down so easy. You got to be careful. There's 2 ounces of rum in here. Okay, you don't want to have too many of these, and especially if you're going to be driving, be real careful. Have this early in the night, and maybe cut yourself off for a couple of hours before you drive. But very good. If you like pineapple, you're going to like this drink. If you don't like pineapple, substitute for something you like. Put in orange juice, mango, passion fruit, whatever you like. See how it turns out. If it doesn't turn out to your liking, mix and match. Put half and half. That's the fun of doing at-home bartending, is just discovering things. And you might even surprise yourself and come up with something that is really a tasty cocktail. So I want to thank you for joining me. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I post new videos. If not, come back here every Thursday and watch a new cocktail being made right here at the Tiki Bar. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Meat Channel.